Welcome to the first episode of Kick-Ass Horror, where Ricky and I are going to discuss a character. That's it, a character who kicked ass in horror. When we discussed this, we knew the first person we had to do was Erin from You're Next, written and directed by Adam Wingard. So when we're first introduced to Erin, she's as Crispin's girlfriend, and well, this girlfriend had a good ass secret, and that secret, it showed how she was able to fuck shit up.
Erin definitely kicked ass. And when I say kick ass, I don't mean just, she was like the damsel in distress and just found the courage. She mustered up the courage to fight back. No. She was calm, cool, and collected. This is a character that you would never know she was the victim. She didn't just protect herself and others. She fucked people up. And what I loved about Erin is that not only did she like kill you, she fucked you up. She kicked ass, bro.
She wanted to make sure that you were dead, that you were dead. And
DEAD.
And that's why Erin stands out. And if you rewatch this as many times as I do, you get to see how from the get-go cool, calm, and collective she was. She was the first one to have heard the arrow going through the window. We'll put the phone on Do Not Disturb right now. This is why I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, by the way. When things did go nuts, watch this again, unless you already peeped it. She stood there, she looked around and said, all right, this is what we got to do. Not many protagonists, as you say, have done this in horror. And this is why Erin is getting the kudos as being the first episode for this.
But not just any protagonist. She's a woman. Let's be real, man. Let's be frank. You don't get it too much of that. There is the OGs, the classics, like, Ellen Ripley, for example. But Erin was tactical, intelligent, and she was not opposed to violence. And that is the difference with Erin. Every decision she made was calculated, bro. She always thought like 2, 3, 4 steps ahead out of everybody here. Case in point, windowsill. When she put the plank with the nails, she put one plank as a decoy. Once he steps down onto the floor and those floorboards, he gets that rusty ass nail stuck deep into his fucking foot, bro. I'm like, God dag, she thought of everything, bro. And that's what I love about Erin. She's fun to watch. She's never like vulnerable in a sense where you feel bad for her. You feel bad for the antagonist of this film, to be quite honest with you.
She was raised in a survivalist camp and taught to be this way. So this is why it took all of them off guard. And I loved it because, how do you bring this up to your boyfriend that I was raised in the outback in a survivalist camp as my father thought that the doomsday would come? So that was one of the great little twists in this movie, is that there is a reason that she is this smart. And this is what makes Erin actually a very scary person. Like you said, all of them were eventually scared of her.
Erin was a stone cold killer. A bold contrast to a lot of the female protagonists in horror films. Like I mentioned earlier, they're usually running and screaming, and then they find the courage to stand up, which is really hokey. Erin was always that from the very, very beginning. You mentioned it. People always make fun of preppers and call them like loonies. But when the shit hits the fan, whether it's the apocalypse or if it's home invaders, Which, let's be real, home invasion is a real fucking thing. You
It
know what I
is,
mean?
and scary.
So, it all started with my man Ty West getting that fucking arrow through the fucking headpiece, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, she heard it even before it probably went through the window. And the way she just took control, man, organized everybody in a single file, protected themselves from the windows. Poor Barbara Crampton is having a fucking panic attack over here
I
while
would have slapped her.
Erin is just like, nah, nah, nah. I got this. I got this. The soundtrack that Erin displayed her genius to, not every film, but every hero or heroine needs that theme, bro. Again, Ellen Ripley, you hear the blaring horns of James Horner, his soundscape that he attached to aliens. You think of Ellen Ripley when she's sitting there with Newt, everything's coming down. You get that vision no matter what, right? That visual. In this film, it's not as bombastic, but it's like heart pounding. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's exciting. And I think every film needs to have the right soundtrack to go with their protagonist, their hero. That tells you who they are. When you hear Superman's theme, you think of Superman. I'm not talking about the new ones. I'm talking about the original,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Christopher Reeves. You know what I mean? When you think of Tim Burton's Batman, you hear Danny Elfman's theme. Spider-Man, the Danny Elfman theme. You hear the music, and Aaron has your own little theme if you want to really put it. The Symphony of Destruction, bro.
I love the fact though, when she felt that she was cornered, instead of sitting there fighting, she jumped out the window. I mean, not many people will do that. And she jumped out, knew how to land. I mean, she did get that shard in her leg, which then she pulled out, did her own tourniquet, and said, all right, let's keep going on here.
And that is another reason why Erin kicks ass, because
Yes.
she took care of that injury and it didn't let it be like a detriment to her. She was like, it's just it's part of the job essentially, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
And it's because of that training that she has. I have to say, actually, my favorite scene, and the problem was I was trying to remember which one of the masks, since they all have different ones. I want to say it might have been the wolf. I could be wrong. When she set up the camera and it just kept taking the pictures in the basement, and she had said, "Don't go into the basement. It's easy for them to get us." I think she said something, they can smoke us out or pour gasoline under. Like she thought of ways that they can trap her down there. So when she goes down there, she sets up the camera and waits for the guy. And when she beats his ass, you're getting the flash. So you're just like her arm up, another point, like it's down, you see the blood is splattered. So it was beautifully shot, and it would go black, and it was just different sequences. You're seeing how she is basically fucking this guy up. When I saw this movie, I didn't see it coming, and I thoroughly fucking enjoyed that.
that's the beauty of the film. It's called Your Next, but if you really want to think about it, Your Next could also apply to the bad guys. Who's next on Aaron's hit list? Because let's be real, once they broke in, they were all on her hit list. They were all fucked up already. They were all dead and they didn't even know it. Kick-ass horror.
Oh
Aaron
yeah.
deserves to be on that podium, brother.
For the next episode, we're going to catch a train. You know what? We're going to Busan. We'll be talking about Sanghua in this episode. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you check out these horrors where your protagonist kicks ass. Until next time, Joe the Psychologist, Ricky Van, we are out.